everyone, welcome to your Modern Maven Tarot Collective Tarot for the new moon in Gemini on May 27th, 2025. A lot of chattiness, I would say, with this new moon in Gemini. Gemini, obviously a chatty sign for communication. It is an air sign. Air signs are signs for communication, and there is a lot bouncing back and forth. I'm getting a lot of positive energy though, because the one thing about Gemini, some people call Gemini two-faced, and yes, there can be Geminis who are two-faced when they don't have that healed shadow energy, but Gemini see both sides of the coin, and that is what's so very important right now, is seeing both sides of the coin and kind of tuning out to the ego energy and tuning into your cups, you know, your personal cup, the inner child. What is emotionally feeling safe? What is emotionally feeling secure to you? And then seeing that for other people, seeing how people seeing how fear has people do things that aren't necessarily in their best interest or in the best interest of others. Fear is going to be playing a big part in all of this. Taking time to tune out the outside world, tune into your inner cup, is going to be very important, all right? Another thing too we're seeing a lot with this air communication and Pluto and Aquarius is the perception of what we see as real and not real. And specifically, I'm going to the utilization of bots and, artificial communication via social media, and seeing the weight of that and how it can shift people's perceptions, how it can shift your own perception of a situation or a person or yourself. Okay, so we really have to think about that influence that the air communication social media has when it comes to expansion, when it comes to power, your personal power, how you feel your power is growing or being diminished, and your own personal ability to use your thoughts, use your communication to empower yourself and to empower others, all right? We're going to be getting into an area where, like I said, we're seeing both sides of the coin and not focusing your energy too much on trying to transform or change other people or their perceptions, but just sticking to the path that leads you to peace, the path that leads you to this, okay? Going from that Page of Cups to the King of Cups, all right? This is the same cup. This comes from emotional growth, all right? And so with all that Pisces energy too, North Node in Pisces, North Node being, where you're heading, where we are collectively heading, all right? Our collective North Node is in Pisces right now. And the wake-up call that comes from Pluto and Aquarius with North Node in Pisces, all right? This is huge. This is refreshing. This is like a weight being lifted, but it takes emotional growth. It takes emotional healing. And this is kind of that situation where, again, like, your peace, like making sure that your inner peace is there and tuning out the things that are trying to infiltrate that peace in a sense, okay? And not burying your head in the sand, but tuning into what you can focus on that gives you internal peace, all right? Because there's going to be a lot of feeling like with that communication, standing up for what you believe in, but sometimes that can unfortunately work against you if it's very strictly on your ego wanting to be right versus giving you the chance to have peace, okay? All right, so with this new moon, we're going to be busy. There's going to be plenty to think about. Again, rapid communication. I'm getting very strong, like 8 of Wands energy, right? Rapid communication. And this is where we need to harness that surge of mental energy to, do things newness, all right? New moon newness, setting new intentions. So this is a perfect moon because Gemini is communication. Setting those intentions and focusing on them is going to get you big results, all right? So mental energy to start new projects, attend classes, get things done, all right? So your mind is probably gonna be wandering. It's really hard, attention deficit, that hard, like not being able to focus is a very strong Gemini thing. Having 10 tabs open at once, but I mean, you can use that to your benefit. As a Gemini rising, Gemini moon, I use that to my benefit, but sometimes it can cause you to not see an end to the multitasking, right? Sometimes you got to put limits on that. All right, so starting these new things though, getting out there and welcoming in the new is going to work in your benefit. Now the days before this full moon, we have Saturn entering Pisces, and this is huge. All right, Saturn, the taskmaster, leaving that watery energy and getting to a fire, like a very fired up, determined energy of Aries, leadership, determination, strong, like limitless energy. We want this in Saturn because Saturn is that taskmaster. And so the more that we can rise to the challenge and be fired up and say yes, the less is this, like, this is what I would get, you know, with that Pisces energy is more of the dreaming. And now, like, the tarot is on point today. So we're leaving that dreamy energy of, you know, spending time daydreaming and all that stuff to the action, right? Going after what you want with passion. Like, that's the ultimate of what you can achieve with Saturn in Aries is the King of Wands. Okay. So Saturn will be here for the next few months. It's going to go back into Pisces, I believe, for a little bit and then go right back into it. If you want more information on that transit, I highly recommend checking out Pam Gregory. She has a great video on Saturn and Aries and everything that is connected to that. Now, what's nice about this is it's offering us a much needed break and a glimpse to the future. And not only the future for ourselves, but the future for others as well. So do be mindful of shadow energy, okay? Do be very, very mindful of shadow energy because it can pop up during this time. Again, the more we break free from something, your shadow's a part of who you are. It's always going to be there. The more we face these things, the better off we will be, okay? Okay, so this transit is inspiring us to transform our lives with renewed energy. So embrace the courage to face the challenges ahead. Okay, so embrace the courage to face the challenges ahead. That is what that devil energy, that shadow energy, understanding the nature of appearances and embracing yourself, all right? Embracing the things you want, going after it full force, but taking time to rest. Again, the Delphic oracles, know thyself, nothing in excess. It sounds easy, but it is the hardest thing to achieve. Okay, so again, this new moon, time for communication, connection, and new ideas. It's encouraging us to be open to new experiences, people, and ideas. It is also a good time to set these intentions, right? And so again, I'm going back to open to new experiences, people, and ideas. Seeing both sides of the coin, you are going to probably be opening yourself up to connections and projects that perhaps in the past you wouldn't have because of, you know, like very focused on one side of the coin when it comes to what you want, what you think. So this spark of new ideas is going to open up new doors, all right? The embracing new ideas will bring you new doors opening as well, okay? Now, before we get started on the reading, I want to go over some of the energy that came through while I was clearing the cards. And again, there is timestamp, so if you want to jump straight to the reading, you're more than welcome. But let's dive into those messages quick before we start. Channel message that came through, leaving and traveling. So this one came through and very easily I could see, again, both sides of the coin. So there's this ambition of exploring, traveling. Traveling is also a strong energy for this Gemini new moon, wanting to, you know, go on a trip or go on a vacation, move somewhere you've never been before, new experiences. And the other thing that came through this, though, with leaving and traveling was very interesting, was the other side of the coin of people who have been forced to leave, people who have been forced to travel, right? And we're going to be getting a lot of downloads connected to empathy, okay? And harnessing empathy with that North Node in Pisces. Pisces is the most empathetic sign. And, you know, strong boundaries are also going to be super important, okay? Because with that empathy, we do have to hold our own peace, right? But again, seeing the sides of the coin, we're going to be getting a lot of people waking up to the reality that perhaps a lot of other people have been, but it's to fire you up. It's to take charge. It's to see the possibilities, to feel limitless, okay? We're not needing to see the limitations. Another thing that came through before I forget is the message, you got to let it shine. And I'm coming out, it's actually from Trolls. So this is a video, or a movie that my daughter watches all the time. And the song where you got to let it shine. And so there is this push for a lot of people to just let yourself shine, okay? Allow yourself to be in the spotlight if you're meant to be in the spotlight. Another thing, lodestone, earth embrace. And so here again, being grounded is so important with an air sign like that, because all of that communication, you're going to be getting a lot of energy related to guidance from the high priestess, from your higher self. And so taking action on that is very, very important. Now, another thing that came through with the Green Witch Tarot was the walking staff, which is emphasizing support and encouragement. All right. And we need that for ourselves. This is where, if you are looking for other people to give that to you, all you need to do is look in the mirror and give it to yourself. That is a very important message for a lot of people right now. Support and encouragement. What you can give to others, but what you can give to yourself. Okay, because that is the most important encouragement that you need, and the most important support is yourself. Now, another thing that came through, which I find very interesting, is the Lovers and the Hermit. So there's a lot of people out there where the Lovers is ruled by Gemini, okay, understanding and enjoying the contrasts and the differences in relationships. Now, the Hermit energy, Virgo, this is that energy of going within and kind of, you know, being an isolationist, if you will. And here's where we step out of that that Hermit energy by understanding and embracing the contrasts and differences in our relationships. That is so very important. So if you have been somebody who has been kind of, you know, embracing that Hermit energy, you might be called to get out into your community a lot more. Okay. Oh, also to check where Gemini is in your chart, what house Gemini rules. That's going to be a very strong emphasis of all of these themes of this new moon. All right. And also, of course, if you have any planets that are in Gemini. Okay. Student. This was very important because this is the lesson that we all need to understand, is that we are all students of life. No matter how much experience you have, we're all students. We're all here to learn. And this is a new moon that is going to give us the opportunity to learn a lot more about ourselves, a lot more about the way that people think, act, and speak, a lot more about how, you know, we perceive things to work versus how we want them to work. Just a lot of learning. And so do not let your ego get in the way of learning things about others and about yourself. So this is also a great time if you want to pick up a book related to psychology. You know, Carl Jung, I always suggest Carl Jung, highly recommend Carl Jung. And embrace learning new things about, you know, how people think, how people act, why they do the things they do, because having this knowledge is going to help you when it comes to decision making, especially important decision making. Okay, because again, Pluto, there's a lot of people coming to answer the wake-up call, to liberate themselves from something. All right, Page of Swords, another thing. So Page of Swords connected to the student, because Page of Swords in that shadow energy can indicate forceful communication. And so we're going to be understanding and seeing a lot of people with forceful communication because of unhealed shadow energy that are going to try and force their perception of truth onto others. All right, so just be very mindful of that. And then the last but not least, the question, what is my gift to the world? That is where that song, You've Got to Let It Shine, is coming through. What is your gift? Get out there, be rebellious, do what you want. Have faith in yourself, have faith in the universe, and understand that we all come from the same source. I think that's the most important thing of this message, is all of this comes from the same source. It's just different interpretations of the same message. All right. And yeah, so this is a very exciting new moon. I hope people are feeling, do not let the pace deter you from taking advantage of it. Okay. When you empower yourself, you help empower others. And that's such an important message. So let us get to this new moon reading. I just need to make sure it looked like one card flipped. It doesn't look like it did. Okay. All right. One more shuffle. And then we will get into it. Also, to comment, let me know what you are looking forward to. Look at the sun here. Let me know what you're looking forward to with this new moon, any new intentions you want to set, and get some, you know, positive encouragement from your community. Drop some comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get into the new moon in tarot. I'm sorry, new moon in Gemini tarot reading for the collective. I mean, seeing the sun there, you got to let it shine. It just keeps popping out. You've got to let it shine. So let yourself shine. Wow. Okay, very cool. Amazing. Wow. Very cool. Okay. That to me, okay, so the Three of Swords, I just asked for a clarification really quick, and Six of Cups popped up. And so this to me is a healing of something not necessarily a current situation, but more of like putting something at rest in the past. Okay, let's get into it. Very much what I was expecting. Overall energy for the new moon in Gemini is the Queen of Coins. Again, you've got to let it shine. Whatever it is inside, it's time to embrace it, because that's when you unlock this coin that's behind her, okay? Now, the Queen of Coins is ruled by Sagittarius and Capricorn. There's also some water energy. It is that idea of enjoying the abundance you have and not having the guilt, shame, or fear of it, okay? And so I get there's too this like sense of generosity. Like, what can you do to share abundance without taking away from yourself, okay? Most importantly though, like I said, it is shining that light from within. And here it is, you know, right at the top of her mind, the top of her head. Your abundance comes to your focus with your thoughts and your intentions and your communication, all right? That is when we are going to unlock this. And this is related to a lot of people. We're going to see a lot of people who perhaps are unlocking their abundance, and it's because of that laser focus. It's because of that determination. It's because of the work. Okay, this is the Queen of Coins is somebody who gardens and attends to that garden. Tends to that garden every day, which is actually funny. I didn't even notice the nine of coins there, so we're going to get to that. But she's somebody who tends to the garden. She's making her breakfast every morning. You know, she's following this routine that really puts her in a place to manifest everything that she desires. Now, it's, again, honest, productive, also having satisfaction in the work. Okay, so here's where I love seeing the green too. And actually, what's fascinating, and I want to get to this because like I said, I do think this Three of Swords is a healing energy, because look at the flowers here. Do you see the flowers on her dress? And the flowers here? And this is, you know, childhood, nostalgia and dreams. And it's almost as if all of these things from your childhood, from our, you know, the dreams of our childhood. Okay, now I'm going to go back to that too, actually. Think of a child and, like, you know, the things that a child dreams for the future and what a child wants for humanity. Like, it's that idea of not just your personal childhood dreams, but the dreams that you had as a child for everyone. That's where it's like this fruition of us seeing the power in dreaming, the power in that Pisces dreamer, to bring that to everybody in the collective. Okay, and what we need more of, the Seven of Cups. You need to believe in these possibilities. Collectively, personally, we all need to believe in the abundance of opportunity, the abundance of dreams and wishes that can come true. This is not a time to limit yourself. It's not a time to put on your rose-tinted glasses. It's a time to focus your energy on what you want for the collective. What we have the right amount of, the Nine of Coins. And so we are set in a place where we can focus that energy on abundance, on beauty, on saying we all deserve to have this. Okay? There is this notion of limitless energy here. Now, the Nine of Coins, ruled by Venus and Virgo. So this is an increase in money. This is beautifying your surroundings. Even if you can't afford to, you know, redecorate, rearrange your space. There's this idea of utilizing your resources to the best of your benefit in a way that makes you feel refreshed. And also, again, for your community as well, if you have that opportunity to do that. What we need less of course we need less of this with a Gemini new moon. The Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is ruled by Mars and Gemini. We can't fear the unknown. We have to embrace that, the negative thoughts, the anxiety, you know, not being able to go to sleep, all that nervousness. When you use it in a sense of, okay, because again, the two sides of the coin with Gemini, anxiousness, right? The fear of like something bad versus the fear of the excitement of something good and new opportunities. It's really about how can you focus your thoughts and feelings into, instead of, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop, to the breakthrough. Instead of a breakdown, seeing a breakthrough, okay? Doubting, questioning, fearing, like all this doubt. That's where we have the ability right now. We are being gifted the ability to focus and harness that energy into abundance and positivity. what you can change. The star, wish upon a star. Like I said, so much of this is related to the Pisces North Node. So much of this is related to the dreamer of your inner child who believed in miracles, who believed in magic. This is where it's time to believe in magic, okay? And so I want you to notice too that this is the tower, all right? So this is after the collapse of the tower. And what comes in is this new world. And so even though, again, the two sides of the coin, we see all this destruction and pain, we can also see the opportunity of, you know, people opening their eyes. But how do we keep those eyes open? How do we, you know, again, embrace empathy versus apathy? Aquarius, this is ruled by Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. So what we can change is really seeing the hope, the inspiration, the vision. We have to see our own power in our thoughts, our own power in our communication, our own power in our actions. Okay, everything matters. And again, that's why I do these collective readings. The more of us that personally harness this energy, the more power the collective has. What you need to accept, the King of Coins. This is a hard one because, again, with the anxiety, with the fear, with the frustration, this can cause of that forceful communication I was talking about. This can cause the anger and the lashing out. And the King of Coins is about dependability, loyalty, delayed gratification pays off. And so there is this concept of, you know, instant gratification society. It's really hard to have the patience sometimes to watch something grow, right? She has taken the time to allow something to grow. And it does. It takes patience and letting go of the worry, the doubt, and the fear. And where things are heading is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords is ruled by Saturn in Libra. And with Saturn in Aries, it's talking about the challenges that got, like, balancing, making sure that you allow yourself to balance your energies. The heart teaches the mind. That's also a very important message. So personally, there are things where having compassion for others is going to be very important, but also having compassion for yourself. There, like I said, I'm not seeing a sadness with this because sometimes it can be, you know, worries and sorrow, but you can't allow, you have to see the importance of these emotions coming through. The importance, like I said, and I don't believe that this is something that is a present day sorrow. It's something from the past that we are personally having closure with, that is allowing us to bring in this energy. Because at the end of the day, all of this is extremely, extremely positive, extremely opening. Like I said, a lot of Pisces dreamer energy, even though this is a new moon in Gemini. So let's quickly get to some clarifiers here, because I'm running a little long. Of course, this Gemini new moon is bringing out my chatty Gemini rising and moon energy. Okay, what past life energy? Egypt and father. Okay. King of Coins can also represent that father energy. What we need to accept too with King of Coins can be what we're putting to rest here, what we are healing is something related to our father, our personal father, again, related to father in the sense of societal, you know, patriarchal father energy. There is this collective understanding, healing, and letting go. Understanding, healing, and letting go. And with Egypt here, it really is, it's like to the depths of the origins of mythology, of that idea of, you know, rules and control, and this, like, you know, the pharaoh, and there's just a lot related to what we perceive as you know, kings, emperors, pharaohs, like I said, like that, just that very strong collective energy of who has power, why they have it type of stuff. Okay. Now let's get some crystal energy that is going to help heal this, because I do think everybody personally and collectively will be having a strong fatherly energy that it's coming to a close, I guess. Okay, selenite, spiritual guidance. Here's something too, because like I said, like with this Queen of Coins and seeing more of this feminine power coming in and letting go of that, you know, controlling, domineering energy. Spiritual guidance. Selenite is great. It's easy to pick up. I think if you're getting these worries, doubts, and fears, have some selenite next to you while you go to sleep. Some selenite, some amethyst. If you're, you know, having a lot of worries, doubts, and fears, like hold that before you go to bed. Focus your energy, focus your thoughts, not on the negative, but where are we heading collectively? Wish upon that star. If you're not wishing upon that star, you're doing a disservice to everybody, not only yourself, okay? So let's have an empowering question that's going to help people clear that 9 of Swords energy. What empowering question collectively can we focus on to clear 9 of Swords energy? Is there something I should let go of to be able to move forward? Yes, that's what this is. This is a final release. I am letting go of the pain of this past relationship, of this past situation, of the hold that this energy had on me that is preventing me from opening up to all this amazing opportunity. Is there something I should let go of to be able to move forward? That is something to think about before the new moon so that you can set your intentions right on what you want to welcome in, okay? All right. Yeah, a lot related to this childhood energy, but I'm telling you, it's very cathartic though. Oh wait, I'm not here yet. Why am I opening those up? Okay. Let's get the past life energy, or I'm sorry, not past life. Let's get archetypal energy. If you're ever wondering what a Gemini energy is, it's me right now trying to talk right now. Okay, what's the archetypal energy? Engineer. Love this. This is really giving me a lot of Aquarius energy, like Pluto and Aquarius, okay? So again, don't forget the emphasis of that and the transformation and rebirth of power and structure. Light attributes, ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Shadow attributes, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Honestly, it is. It's the idea of empathy versus apathy. And when it comes to the ability to, like I said, like reimagine what that means with the power of feminine energy and control, right? And not even in control, but just leading. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. So we are going to be seeing a lot of people like this, the engineers, in the collective. You're going to be seeing a lot of people with new innovative ways to come up with solutions to problems that perhaps we didn't even think were possible. Wish upon a star. What are, you know, it can come from, you know, the idea of curing cancer to ridding the world of war. Like that's like the highest level of this. But again, shadow attributes. So without regard for emotional consequences, there are people who see this as a destructive way with the apathetic, just, you know, clearing things or people in a sense without the regard of the empathy that they have shut themselves off from. Probably related to that King of Coins, right? Again, so much of this is related excuse me, to that father energy, and it's just time for it to be cleared. All right, let's get the Green Witch Tarot, and then we will get to sign by sign. All right, what can we, all right. Yes, okay, this makes perfect sense. Tend and sow. Plant the seeds. What is this vision? Plant it. Wish upon it, but make sure you tend to it, okay? This is perfect because the Queen of Coins, this is what she does. I said it in the beginning. You're not only, it's not about planting the seed, right? You set the intention. Cool. Oh my God, look at this too. How amazing is that? Look at, it's the same imagery, 2 different decks, same imagery. You bring it down, you plant it, but after you plant it, you have to take the time to water it. You have to take the time to, you know, give it plenty of sunlight and pull the weeds. If weeds pop up, you have to pull them. You don't ignore them. Maintenance, encouragement, guidance, planning, setting intentions, and optimism. So again, all of this is everything. I love it because it's not even earth energy, but there's so much earth energy. It's a really well-balanced energy, honestly. Earth, water, air, everything's here. Except for fire. Funny. Which is why that Saturn in Aries is going to be so important. Okay, so let's get a sign by sign. Tend to your garden, all right? Okay, Aries. What does Aries need to hear for the Gemini new moon on April 27th? Aries, take advantage of this new moon, the Hierophant, the Magician. You have something to teach others. You should be fired up, but make sure that you realize the wand is in your hand. So do be mindful of the intentions you set. Don't let them be completely ego-based. And with the Hierophant too, with that student, remember, you're always a student, all right? We all have something to learn. We all have something to teach. So take that role, if this is you in a leadership role, take that responsibility very seriously and wish for that abundance for everybody, right? Like, you have the ability right now to set some really big intentions for the collective. This is major arcana, so this is collective energy. The power you have to change a collective is really important right now. Taurus, 9 of Wands. Are you exhausted? I bet you are, Taurus. Taurus energy, you really, burn out, but one step at a time, okay? You're almost there. The finish line is there. Be mindful of how you're looking at the past. This isn't about regret. It's about healing. This is about understanding that you built strength and resilience from the challenges that you have had to face in your life, and now you're ready to shine. Gemini, the star, amazing. Look at this double star energy. Gemini, for you specifically, you should be feeling reborn. You should be feeling alive. You should be feeling the water of that Pisces North Node guiding you to the future of your dreams. So take advantage of it. Wish upon a star. Set those intentions. Again, not for yourself, not only for yourself, but for the collective, okay? Your collective vision of the future, putting that down, making a vision board is going to be very, very important. Cancer, the Tower. All right. So there is something here in the collective that you are witnessing when it comes to a breakdown and a breakthrough. So remember, two sides of the coin. It's going to be a breakdown for some people and a breakthrough for others. Be on the side of the lightning bolt of change. Do not stay stuck in that tower. Because when it comes to this energy, Cancer, it really does matter, like what energy you're focused on. Okay. So make sure your thoughts are toward positive energy. Leo, the Hanged Man. This is Neptune, all right? If you're feeling like you don't know, like you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you have no options, you do. Patience, okay, going within. You're going to unlock the way to move forward by just having the patience to, again, refocus your energy. Refocus your energy on your dreams, all right? This isn't a time for forcing anything. You're going to be getting a new perspective. You're going to be understanding what you need to let go of. And you could even be rethinking your identity at this time, okay? All right, Virgos. What do Virgos need to hear for the new moon? Oh, Virgo is nice. A lot of travel. Again, the wand in your hand. I love seeing the wand in your hand like Aries does. Virgos, big momentum, big change. Say yes to it. This is what happens when the light and the shadow work together. This is what happens when you heal something from the past that has been holding you back from accepting joy. Okay, so it's time to move forward. It's time to be excited. It's time to embrace your emotions. Virgos, you get this message all the time. Embrace that Pisces energy, your polar natal sign of Pisces. Embrace it. Embrace the dreamy, loving, empathetic, joyful dreamer, okay? All right, Libras. What do Libras need to hear for? Libras, balance, balance, balance. Okay, so that was a big part of this, is making sure that you are balancing your thoughts, balancing your beliefs, balancing your action. One foot on the ground and one foot in your dreams is going to lead you to success. But it really is about know thyself and nothing in excess, okay? By trial and error, you will get to what you want to achieve. To me too, this is your dream for the collective. And this is something that spiritually you're going to be called to. But again, it's going to take the balance of dreaming and action. Dreaming and action. Okay, Scorpios, what do Scorpios need to hear for this Gemini? All right, Scorpios, Queen of Cups, look at you. Nurture your cup, nurture your dreams, all right? This is a practical energy. It's an energy with a big heart, so make sure you have strong boundaries. And focusing your energy on what you want, Scorpio. How can you help transform this energy to utilize your Scorpio energy of transformation, right? Death and rebirth. That is what you're all about here. I also want to say, like, make sure you're in the flow. And so focusing your intentions on what you want for the future versus this negativity that is leaving. Go with the flow, but make sure that you're flowing with yourself focused on that vision of your future. Okay, Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to hear? Sagittarius, nice. 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. All right, so you're contemplating the choices, the directions, and the abundance that comes from that. This is where you have an option to really ask yourself, like, who are you in this scenario? Are you the person giving the gifts, or are you a person waiting to receive a gift? Okay, there's something that you've been ignoring when it comes to an important choice, an important direction to take, that I feel can open you up to a lot of abundance, but it is going to take having to make a decision where you have to make the decision from within, and don't allow the influence of others. And especially too, like, if somebody's trying to, like, this is the idea of like, oh, we're gonna give you a bonus, or we're gonna give you extra paid time off, but we need you to work an extra 80 hours. You know, like, there's something there where don't compromise yourself or your integrity for a gift that there could be strings attached. Okay, I'm just getting this idea of strings attached. So make sure that you're asking yourself why. Okay, Capricorns, 5 of Cups. This message of the outcome, don't focus on the past, on what you've lost. Focus on the 2 cups that you still have, because there is this energy of allowing past regret to blind you from the abundance that is here, the opportunities that are here. It just seems like we're focusing too much on something from the past, focusing too much on other people's cups, even, where we're ignoring the cups that are right in front of us, and that are wonderful cups, that are cups that will bring about new cups. Okay, all right, Aquarius. Nice, Aquarius. 6 of Wands. You got to let it shine. Aquarius, this is a time for you to shine, all right? And take the spotlight. Do it with a healthy ego, and you're going to be having people turn their heads. This is amazing. That's some strong Leo energy too. Jupiter and Leo. There is expansion with your ego. There's expansion with you being seen, getting the recognition you deserve. So make sure that you enjoy that recognition, okay? All right. Oh, perfect. Pisces. 10 of Wands reversed with the Fool. There is something here, a lot of burdens where, you're at the finish line. You're at the finish line, and Uranus is coming in here for a completely new, liberating, freeing direction. Like, this is a whole new, fresh start. So embrace it, because it's really exciting. That's an exciting message here. Yeah, so anyways, that is everything. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Again, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, and as always, shine your inner light. We've got this.